My name is Sergei Luzginov, and I'm a video producer. I own a video production company called Mosaic Production, and also ChristianVideoProductions.org. One day I realized that doing drugs, it will not get me anywhere, basically. And I also realized that I am addicted. And I didn't know how to quit. I didn't know what to do. I realized that I've tried to do it many, many times and it wasn't working. This is when I start calling out to God and saying, I really want you to show me a direction in life, where I need to go and what I need to do. And it was very clear that I need to move away from Russia, from all of my friends, from just this environment where I was at. So to make long story short, 3 months later, I ended up in New York. I didn't speak English. I had $395 in my pocket, and I was 18 years old, and I didn't know anybody. And I thought that that was the best thing that ever happened to me. Of course, I didn't think that way back then, but now I'm realizing that was the change that I needed. And so I started working construction. I started working at different jobs. In a period of 2.5 years in New York, I've changed about 40 jobs. Many people mention that I look like Tom Cruise or Christian Slater or Harrison Ford when he was young. And I thought, man, that's what I should do. I should become an actor. Or first I thought model will be easier, so I tried to do modeling. Didn't work. Then I said, I got to move to California. California is the place where I can get discovered, you know. I'll be walking the beach and somebody will discover me, and then I'll be famous, happy, will have my limo, then I can marry a beautiful model, and that's it, you know, that's the happiness. One of the things that amazed me in acting class was that when you look at any scene that I was working on, any play, and all the props that you place in the scene, all the little details, all the little screws, all the little tables, stools, everything, it talks about the scene. It talks about the period of time. It talks about the story. It talks about characters. It talks about everything. And I was thinking, you know, this is interesting. This is a parallel to life. This is just how life is. And there's so many things that point out about important things in life. And I was like, you know, I'm producing this play, but what if there's another producer, you know, just like me, God, you know, who's really producing this life, and he's using all the props to point me in the right direction. I mean, that was another point of clarity when I realized, oh my God, God is really exists. He's really here. And He's really is leading me to something. I was actually very close to finish my list of things that will make me happy. I had BMW, I had a house, I had a boat. I started getting acting jobs little by little, and that was very exciting. You know, those silly things when you sit in the director's chair and somebody is brushing your hair and doing your makeup. It's just kind of like a huge award for an actor because, hey, that's a statement that you're actually doing something and you're getting paid for what you do. So that means somebody likes it. I started to think about different things in my life that I've done, and I felt like God says, Sergei, you were doing many things. You were very active. You were doing many things, but you were doing those things without me. You were doing it by yourself. And so you exhausted yourself. Now, give me a chance. Learn about me and follow me. Give me a chance. And I took an acting class for 2 years, and what I felt is that God says, give me at least 2 years. He compared that to my learning experience in acting school, that I need to actually learn. I need to go and study. I need to put time into this. I need to give God time and chance. I started writing a lot of scripts about Christian agenda, about what God has done in people's life, and I thought that Jesus was a first filmmaker, you know, or one of the best filmmakers he was. I mean, he would tell those parables, and people would just see a clear vision, and they would just follow, you know. And I wanted to learn what he was teaching them and produce that in my films as well. A little into this, I felt called to become a missionary, and I moved to Russia, to my home country, and I started ministering to Russian people. It was a ministry to artists. We started a Russian-speaking church for artists, and it was going very good. But you know what I realized? That storytelling is still in me, and I still wanted to get it out. I still want to tell people in the film about God. I'm really excited. I don't know how this is going to turn out eventually, but I have this vision where I need to, where God wants to compare three religions in three different characters. And I'm talking about Muslims, Christians, and Jews. People in the world see God as God to everybody, and there's many different ways to God. And I agree that God is God to everybody, but there's only one way to God. And it's hard to find that way. It's very narrow. And so in order for you or anyone to find it, you have to go through a lot of information. For that, somebody needs to start learning and reading and watching stuff and discerning things. And I would like to prepare a piece, a video or film that would present to a viewer three religions in an hour and a half, when one person can see how different are they. What do they talk about? Are they talking about the same God? I mean, it's funny how God works. He puts something in your heart when you were a child. Like, I wanted to make movies when I was a kid. I enjoyed seeing myself on the film. And I never thought that anything can happen with this. And when I was pursuing it for my own selfish goals, it didn't happen. And it's not supposed to happen. God brought me just far enough so I can see how miserable people are when they pursue their own goals, not God's goals. But God has equipped me so I can pursue His goals now. And that's the difference. That's the difference. I'm not walking away from all the training that He gave me, but now I'm just channeling it in the right direction and using it for God. And I'm just praying that God gives me strength, gives me faith to follow Him on these projects. And I pray that God brings Christian people into my life, that we can work together and we can glorify God and leave something on the video, something on film that people for generations can watch, no matter what happens to us. And it's important that, you know, like we read Jesus' stories, His films. It's important to make Him famous. And now to make someone famous, you got to get him on TV. Make your working place a place for ministry. Not a place for you to make money, but the place for ministry where God can work through you, through your hands, through your voice, through your eyes. It's not a coincidence that you're there. It's not. It's not. It doesn't really matter what title, occupation, or income we have. What's important is that we honor God in our lives, and we are constantly, always, at work on purpose.